Good afternoon, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. My name's Mary. I'm doing a presentation on what? On my hand, right. I'm doing a presentation on my hand. So in the 60s, a very long time ago, I was born with one hand. So I never had two hands. And when I was born, this thumb actually didn't really exist. It was kind of like that when I was first born. And the doctors back then decided that maybe it would be helpful if I had a little thumb. So I went to surgery. Has anybody ever had surgery here? Some of you have had surgery. So I had surgery, and they created this little thumb so that I could do more things. It's just a little thumb, so what can I do with that? Well, I brought some stuff here on this table that I can show you. And then if you have questions, if you could just put your hand up and speak really loudly, just one at a time, and I'll just point to you, and then you can just ask your question. So, I see a bunch of you are wearing running shoes. So this is how I would tie my shoes. This is how I do tie my shoes. So I use my thumb, wrap it around. Oop. Just like that. So it took me probably till I was about 6 to learn to tie my shoe. Shall I do that again? Just like that. That little thumb goes in there, and like that. Any questions about that? Yes? Yes, so exactly how you saw it, that's how I tie my shoe. So when you all get home tonight, those of you who have running shoes or boots with laces, you might try that with one hand and then a finger on your other hand and see how that works for you. Yes? Does it hurt when I wrap it around my thumb? If you wrapped a lace around your finger, not too tightly though, would it hurt? No, it doesn't hurt. But if you did it really tightly, it would hurt, right? Yes? That's okay, it might come back to you. Yes? Sorry? Can I double knot it? Yeah, I would just do this. Just like that. Yes? Do I use an artificial hand? That is a great question. When I was in grade 3, I got my first artificial hand and a hook. And a hook was not like Captain Hook, but it actually moved like this. It was like a little, I don't know, like a little pincher thing. And it would help with different things. But what I found in grade 3 and 4 and 5 when I was using those artificial hands, it really wasn't helpful. It was really getting in the way of what I needed to be doing, like sports or swimming or that kind of thing. And back in the 60s, there wasn't such a thing as Velcro, and there weren't the Paralympics like we have now, and the Special Olympics, and the different prosthetics or artificial legs or arms like we have now. So now, people who have disabilities are so much more fortunate than we were back in the 60s. Yes? How do I put my shoes on? Well, I wore boots today, but I would put it on just like this, just like you. I put it on the floor, hold the tongue, stick my foot in. Same as you. Yes? Pardon? Sorry, I can't hear you. Oh, do I have my little claw hand here? No. Back in probably grade 5, I stopped wearing that little claw thing and the artificial hand. But I brought this device to show you. This is my rowing arm. So when I row on the Glenmore Reservoir, I put this on like this, and this piece goes in the oar so that I can row. Cool, huh? Isn't that neat? And this can go back and forth. Somebody with a lot of talent made this for me. This can go back and forth because the oars go back and forth. And then if the boat was tipping over, I don't want to be attached to the oar, because then what would happen? Yes. I'd fall in the ocean or in the water. So if with a boat's tipping over, I can just do this and pull my hand out. So before I had that, I had this when I was rowing. So I would do this, and this part would go onto the oar like that, and I'd row like that. Who knows what would be the problem with this? Yes? The oar was moving all over the place. I had no control over it.
When you tip over, it would be easy to take off.
If I tipped over, I'm now attached to the oar. That's not a good thing. That's not very safe. So that's why I had to find somebody who could make me something that I could actually use better than this. Yes?
Do you have someone to drive you, or do you drive?
I would love to have somebody to drive me. Like a chauffeur, that would be awesome. But no, I drive myself. I have to drive an automatic car, so I can't have a stick shift, you know, that goes back and forth. Like, I can't have one of those. So I drive an automatic. And the other class that was here just before you folks asked if I put my stump in one of those little holes, you know, on the steering wheel sometimes, the way that they're designed, you can put your hand. So that's what I do when I drive. I put my little stump in one of those little holes, and off I go. Yes? Was I born early? No, I was born right on time. So if I had stayed in my mummy's tummy any longer, I would still have one hand. That's a very good question. Yes? Pardon?
Is there soccer? Do you play different sports?
I can't hear you. Sorry?
Do you play soccer?
Oh, do I play soccer? I don't play soccer, and I don't play baseball, and I don't play basketball. But here's something I love doing. Who can guess what this is? Yes? It's a rope for all the boat sports. Very good. So I'm just going to throw it out on the ground there. So anybody here do any wakeboarding, any tubing, any water skiing? Okay. So let's pretend this piece is not here. So when you guys are using your rope, it probably looks like this, right? Something like this, a bar, right? So when I was learning to water ski, I would hold this. This would be attached to the back of the boat, right? And so the boat starts off. You know, you say hit it, so you go off. What do you think's going to happen to me? Because this hand isn't doing anything. Yes? I might fall off. I fell off a whole lot of times because this hand's not doing anything, and this hand is on the handle, and so every time the boat took off, I would go like this, and I could never get up. And then I met a man who was a water ski instructor, and he said, Mary, you have got to be able to get up out of the water. I have a garden hose in my backyard, and I'm going to put it together with a piece of rope, and we're going to see how that works. So he brought it to my class the next time we had a class, and so this is how I water ski, with a good old piece of garden hose. Any questions about this? Yes? How do I swim? Like this. Same way. Yep. Yes?
How would the garden hose thing help?
How would the garden hose thing help? Okay, so remember this? This was like this. Now I'm going to fall over. Now when I say hit it, I'm balanced, right? Because the weight is even, so I'm not going to tip over. Right? Does that make sense? Okay. Yes?
Have you ever fell and hurt yourself since you didn't have another hand?
Have I ever fallen and hurt myself because I didn't have another hand? Sure, yeah. When I was a kid learning to ride my bike, I'd fall a lot. Yes?
How old were you when you took off the book thing?
I was in about grade 5.
So I would guess you were 10 or 11.
Yep, about 10 or 11. Which some of you are, right? Some of you are in grade 5. Yes? Yeah.
How do you eat your food?
How do I eat my food? Like this. I brought a knife and fork because I thought that question might come up. Like this. I cut like this. And then I put my knife down. So let's say I've got a juicy steak. Poke the steak and eat it. Elbows of steel. Yeah, awesome. Yes. Okay, let's try that. Use my little thumb to hold the fork. Nope. That doesn't work very well. That's why I have to use my elbow. Yes? That's a great idea. Very inventive. Boy, the comment was that maybe I should have somebody to invent a fork that has Velcro on it so that I can just attach it to my hand and not be bothering with this. That's a brilliant idea. Yes. I can move my thumb just a little tiny bit. Yes. I could put the fork on my hand and then get a rope and tie it. Yeah. Yes. Oh, all these creative ideas. I could use a watch and put the fork under the watch. Wow. Yes. Can you just speak up a little bit? Do I know that I have no hand? Yeah. Is there a different way you want to ask that question? Do you know why I have, do I know why I have one hand? Well, when I was little, like in about grade 1, I had lots of kids ask me, how come you have one hand? That's so weird. And I would be made fun of. And what I would tell kids, and grown-ups, because some grown-ups didn't understand why I had one hand, is that baby Jesus created me because he wanted me to have one hand. So I was raised Catholic, just like all of you, and I really believed that that Jesus makes everybody different because everybody has different gifts and talents and things that they need to do in this life. And I knew from a very young age that one of the things I needed to do was talk to people about the fact that it's okay to be different, that everybody has a special place in God's world. Yes? Do I wish I could have two hands? Well, I think if I had two hands, I wouldn't know what to do with them. I think it would just kind of get in the way. Yes?
When you were younger, were people making fun of you?
When I was younger, were people making fun of me? Yeah, they sure were. Yep, because they didn't understand. And when people don't understand something, it makes them feel kind of dweeby. And so if they didn't understand why I had one hand, they would maybe be frightened or didn't know how to talk to me. Yes?
But everybody is unique and different.
Everybody is unique and different, you bet. Yes?
How would you get like jewelry on?
How would I get jewelry on? Same as you. Sometimes I use my teeth. I use my teeth a lot, actually. I can't find the beginning. But let's say it was a little claspy thing. I would just put it in between my teeth, open it, close it, just like that. Or sometimes I have to ask my husband. Yes?
Is it like fun to have one hand or like
Is it fun to have one hand? Is it fun to have two hands?
no?
You don't know any different, right? Because you've always had two. So, yes. Did they call me names? Yes, when I had my little hooky thing, they called me Captain Hook. They sure did. Yeah. If I was left-handed to draw, how would I? Probably the same way, like this, but probably not very well. Because this is my drawing hand and my writing hand. How do I hold the paper? Just like this. Oh, so if this was the table, well, here's a table. I would put the paper here, I would pick up my pen and write like that. In the green with the glasses. How do I wash my dishes? Oh, I have a dishwasher. But I didn't always. And when I was a kid, growing up, I had an older sister and a younger brother. And I used to play pranks on them. And I used to say to my parents, oh, Mom and Dad, I can't do the dishes. I can't wash the dishes because I only have one hand. And they would say, get over it and get over there and do the dishes. So I would put the cloth on this hand and wash the dishes like this, and then put the cloth down, and then rinse them under the water and put them in the drainer. Does that make sense? In the purple. How do I get lotion on my hands? So I would take the bottle of lotion, squish it here, right there, and do this. And those girls that are in the crowd, anybody wear nail polish? So this is how I put on nail polish. I'll open the jar or the lid like that, and then get off the sides and do that. Just like that. Yes?
Did girls make fun of you because like you couldn't do gymnastics or dance?
Did girls make fun of me because I couldn't do gymnastics or dance? Yeah, I can dance, I love dancing, but gymnastics, that was never anything I was good at. So I never really went down that road. I did other things like swimming and yoga. Yes, I can do yoga. Now, if you notice, this hand is quite a bit shorter than this hand, right? So when I do yoga, I don't want to be tipping over. So if any of you know yoga, there's a little green spongy square thing that you often use in yoga. And I put that on the ground. I didn't bring it with me, but I put it on the ground so that by the time this hand is on that foamy thing along this side, along with this hand, they're both equal. So then I can do a downward dog or whatever.
Or you can make use one hand, but
Yes.
have you ever felt like isolated and alone that you only had one hand?
Have I ever felt isolated or alone that I only had one hand? Absolutely. Because all of my friends that I grew up with all had two hands. And sometimes when I got to be a little bit older and I started dating, guys didn't really want to be hanging out with a girl with one hand. So I did feel isolated when it came to that time of my life when people were dating and being together. Yes? Can you just speak up a little bit? Did my arm ever hurt when I was in yoga? It depends on who the instructor was. Some instructors really push you hard. I mean, not physically, I mean, not literally, but I would hurt the same way anybody would hurt if they were working out really hard. Yes? Oh, what's this thing over here? Oh, what's under the table? That's my purse. Nothing exciting in there. Who can guess what this is? Yes? Ski poles. So when I downhill ski, I don't use poles at all because they just get in my way. But when I cross country ski, I found a very intelligent man who invented this for me after Velcro was invented. I don't know what we'd do without Velcro, I gotta say. So this goes like this. This goes in this little piece here. Oh, wait a minute. Like this. And this is how I cross. There's a little metal thing here to stop the pole going any further than that. So this is how I cross country ski. Any questions? A scientific reason why I only have one hand. Well, I don't know that there is a scientific reason. There really isn't any reason that the doctors knew about why I had one hand. Like they couldn't determine or tell why it was that I was born with one hand. So there really isn't any scientific proof around that. Yes? Did they have to what? Did they have to link up ligaments? That is a very good question. Yes, they did. So you can't see it, but I have a little scar here. And they had to take ligaments out of here. And when this was opened up, attach them in there so that this little thing could actually move. That's a really good question. Yes?
What if your hand was cold? How would you put mittens?
If my hand was cold, how would I put on mittens? So I'd take one mitt and put it over this one, and then I'd take this mitt and often, again, use my teeth and shove it on. What do you think about gloves? Would I be wearing gloves? Why? With the hat.
This one will just fall off.
It would just fall off. It'd be kind of useless. Yes? If I knitted, how would I knit? I love knitting. So here's the ball. I'll just let that fall. So this is how I knit, just like that. I knit a lot in the winter. I love knitting. Pardon?
Do you make your own gloves?
Do I make my own gloves? No, I make my own scarves though. Any questions about knitting? Yes. Yeah.
So when you knit, you put your thumb in the strings.
Yeah, I put my thumb, here, I'll do that again. So, like that. And then I go through there, and then my thumb goes around, and I pull the stitch through. Yes?
Your hand is like a little hook that like grabs on to stuff.
Yeah, it's like a little hook. It's my helper hand, I call it. Yeah. Yes?
This is from dishwasher how if you would you like got an idea where like if someone made some kind of like cloth where there's like a cloth hanging and then you would put it on the hand that doesn't work and then wash it like that?
So the question is, would I attach a cloth onto this hand to help me wash dishes? I probably wouldn't because it works well the way it is now. I just put the cloth on this hand and squirt the soap and just wash the dishes like this. Yes?
How would you put the dishes away if there was a high place?
Well, sometimes I have to use a little step stool. And this hand is my working hand. So I would maybe step on the step stool, open the cupboard door, take the dish off the counter, and put it up here. If I was taking a dish out of the counter or out of the cupboard, I would take it out like this and put it on the counter. How are we doing for time? Okay, maybe 2 more questions. Pardon? Okay, back there with the striped shirt. Sorry, can you speak up? How did I get my passion for water skiing? Well, my friends were water skiing, and I really felt that I wanted to learn how to water ski, and I felt like, gosh, I need to embrace this somehow, and I have to figure this out. So it was because my friends were water skiing, I just wanted to learn as well. So maybe 1 more question. Yes, with the glasses. Oh, sorry, this girl right here with the striped shirt. Sorry, I can't hear you. Yes, I did get a prosthetic. When I was in about grade 3, I had an artificial hand and that hook I talked to about. Yeah, I had fingers, yeah. I think that was the last question. So thank you all very much. You're all such great listeners and asked so many brilliant questions. Thank you very much.